Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. This video is going to be another book related video because last night, Saturday, it's actually Sunday now when I'm filming. Last night I have finished the book that I'm reading that I was reading as I was looking through the Kindle store, because if you didn't know, I'm a majority Kindle reader. I still give myself the option to read physical books, and if you saw the booktube newbie tag, I think, that I did, you saw on my shelf, and I have a ton of books up there. I just love reading on my Kindle. It is, I think, superior. No hate to people who read physical books. It just, the Kindle is, there's something about it that's just amazing, okay? But that's not what this video is. But I can do a Kindle related video. If you want to see that, let me know. So I finished reading this book that was really, really good, and I want to talk to you guys about it because I think it might be Naked level, or at least close to it. Hi, so I'm here to interrupt my own video by explaining what I mean by naked level. So if you've been following me for a couple of years now, you may know that I have read this book called Naked. It's titled Naked, and it's by Melissa Tereze. And I read that, I think, in 2021, and I absolutely loved it. And I have mentioned before that this book had put me in a book hangover for months. I could not move on to a new book. I just couldn't commit to another book because Naked was so good. I loved it so much that I just couldn't move on. And so that book has high value to me. So when I say Naked level, it's one of the best books that I've ever read. So I hope that makes sense. The best that I can explain it. It pretty much means that the book is really, 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 really good. Although the book that I'm talking about in this video, it did not put me in a book hangover, but it's close to that level. It's really good. I really enjoyed it. So I hope that makes sense to people who might not know or who don't know what that means. So I hope that cleared it up. So first, I'm going to tell you guys how I found this book to begin with. I was looking on the Kindle store to find my next read. There's an author that I tend to gravitate toward, and that author is Melissa Tereze. I'm not sure if that's how you say her last name, but that's what it looks like, so I'm sorry if that's wrong. So I tend to gravitate toward her books, which are really great, and if you haven't checked out her books, you really should. I had came across this book that I knew was out, and I think I tried it a little bit, but then I kind of DNF'd it for a little bit. But then I came back to it because this book is actually book 2 to another book that I thought was a standalone. Book 1, which I have already read, is called Discovery, and I mentioned that book in my lesbian books video that I did, so if you haven't seen that, I will link it in the eye. They must have updated the listing name on Kindle. It'll show the series name and then which book it is in that series, and I saw that this book that I'm going to talk about, it's in the same series because I saw that Discovery had the series with the book number, and the series was the same for this book. So then I was like, oh, it's book 2. Awesome. That's how I found out that it was book 2, and so then I read it and I loved it. And that book, now that I've teased it enough, it's called The Hideout, and it's by Melissa Tereze. Again, I read it on my lovely Kindle here that I decorated with a skin, because why not read smut and style? Anyway, but no, it's cute. But yeah, this is my Kindle. There's hair on it. This is the Kindle Oasis. And then I also have a pop socket on it too. So that's what it looks like. With this series, at least the first two, the main, or one of the main characters from book 2 is kind of a side character to book 1. If you haven't read Discovery, there's this character named Hannah, and she's an escort. She has a client named Caroline, right? But then she had another client on the side named Juliet. And so Juliet is one of the main characters in The Hideout. So it's kind of like, it's not like a continuation of the story from book 1. It's kind of like from the perspective of a different character from that book, if that makes sense. If you haven't heard about series that are like that, it's not the same like storyline, but it's like from the point of view of a side character from book 1. But Hannah and Caroline are mentioned in the Hideout, so it's like you can tell that it's a linked series. Juliet, she's in her 40s. I think she's 49 years old. I don't remember exactly. But she just bought this bar because previously she was a lawyer. So Juliet, she just bought this bar, but it's a members only bar that you can have drinks there if you have a membership to it. So it's kind of like a private bar. Juliet was an ex-lawyer, so she used to be a lawyer, but now she moved on to own this bar called the Hideout. And so she needs a bartender. She needs someone to make the drinks. So she has this interview with this girl named Paige. And as soon as Juliet sees Paige, she falls in love. It's like an instant love. But now Paige, she has some stuff going on, okay? And I don't know if any of these are going to be spoilers. If you get spoiled, I'm sorry. I just don't know which one, like what point is going to be a spoiler, but anyway, I'm going to try my best here. So Paige, first of all, she is married to an abusive husband, and that's definitely not a spoiler because it's within like the first couple chapters. You just learn about him right away, and his name is James. And he lives in a place called Kent. So then Paige, she like comes to Liverpool in the UK. A background of Paige is that she's gay but couldn't really come out to her family because she knew she wouldn't get the support, which is kind of sad. So I guess James was her beard. When her and Juliet meet, they both just fall in love with each other. But now it takes Paige a while to kind of like come clean to Juliet, but after all, she does. And Paige, she also has another thing up her sleeve. She is great on the piano, and she's a great singer. So, and there's a piano at the Hideout. And one day, Juliet comes down to the bar, and she hears Juliet playing on the piano, and she just starts crying because her voice is amazing. Her talent is beautiful. So that's like another thing about Paige that is like really cool, that she's really good with the piano, and she can sing, and all that fun stuff. That is just another quirk of why they love each other. And there's this part of this plot is like trying to run away from James. When Paige gets this job at the Hideout, she calls Harriet, her friend, and she's like, oh yeah, I got the job, this is awesome. And then Harriet's like, well, what's James gonna say? Because you soon learn that James is a total jerk, okay? He's a butthole, he's a jerk, and you're like, you do not need to be here. Because the whole time I was reading this, I was like, you are a jerk, because he didn't want Paige to have a job. He just wanted her to be a stay-at-home wife. He just wanted her just to sit in the house and do nothing. And he like literally physically like beat her, which is also one of the things that's like, okay, you are on my I don't like you list. You know what I mean? Because he's just a complete jerk. And we don't like people when they beat people up, okay? So we don't like that. So from my perspective, James, again, you're gonna be like, I get it, Tiffany, but James is a jerk in this book. Like, we do not like him. He needs to stay far away. So then there's this point in this book where Paige, she's in Liverpool with not much of her stuff. So she goes back home to Kent to try to grab her stuff, and she runs into Harriet, who was pretty much having sex with James behind Paige's back. And now you're probably thinking, yeah, that like, why would she care if he abuses Paige? I mean, the idea of cheating like that is not fun. Nobody likes it, so you're going, why are you doing that? But at the same time, you're like, I don't care because he's a jerk to me. You know what I mean? So Paige, she grabs her stuff and she puts it by the door. As she tries to escape James after talking to him, the door's locked and she's like, oh crap. So as she tries to get out, James pretty much like pushes her head into the door and she pretty much like blacks out. The chapter in which this scene takes place, it starts out with a content warning, which I was a bit nervous about because if you know me, there's some stuff that I just can't deal with. And so I was a little bit on edge when I read that chapter, but it's not too bad. It's just like he just like hits her head really hard on the door and then she just pretty much like blacks out. So it's not like heavy on the like abuse, but it's still there. So if you read this book, if that's something that you're like about, just be warned. But to me, I could still get through it. I was just a little bit terrified, but I got through it, which is good. I guess she's at this hotel, and then there's this scene where she's at the hotel. Juliet comes and she tries to like help her and stuff like that. And this whole story is pretty much how like when Paige and Juliet works at this bar, and they don't live that far from each other because they live in like the same apartment building, so it's a whole thing. But I really loved it, and I definitely put my thoughts on Goodreads. If you want to follow me, feel free to, or add me, whatever the term is for that platform. Now there are, I think, 4 books in the entire series, and the series name, I think, hold on, let me find out, called the Hush Liverpool series. Because here's Discovery. Can you even see that? Let me turn my brightness up. Hold on. Can you focus on my screen? Can you see it? So yeah, see how it says it, the like book series and then the book number? Because then I like scrolled down and I saw that the Hideout, which is down here, it says book 2. And then when I saw that, I was like, these two are in the same series? That's awesome. I can link the books from the Amazon website in the description in case you want to read them and check them out. But of course, you should read Discovery first. Although, I don't think it would matter a whole lot if you read The Hideout first, because they're like different storylines, but it would be better to read Discovery first. And I did mention it in my all the lesbian books that I have read so far video. I have mentioned it there, and I kind of like shared some of my favorite moments. So if you want to watch that, again, I will link it in the eye so that you can go and check that out. I really enjoyed this book called The Hideout, and I just wanted to kind of gush about it and just kind of like share it because it was so good. And it's and then also another thing that I wanted to mention is that Paige then eventually came out to Harriet. There was no homophobia, don't worry, there was none of that. She just didn't feel like she would be supported in her family, so she kind of had to like hide that part. But of course, when she met Juliet, she definitely they definitely love each other. Definitely 100%. If they get married, I don't know. That wasn't even talked about, but if they do, I wouldn't be mad. I mean, I wouldn't be mad if they did get married, but I mean, there's like 2 more books, so let's see what happens. So, I mean, I definitely enjoyed it. And you heard what it's about. So, if you haven't read it, yes, it is considered lesbian romance, because if you don't know, that's pretty much the only genre that I read. Yeah, ever since I read Naked, that's just all I've been reading, and I really like it. So yeah, and this author, I might do a kind of like appreciation video for this author, because Melissa Tereze, like, her books are really good. Now, yeah, there are some books that I didn't like quite as much, but her writing is still really great. Like, she knows how to write some good smut scenes. Like those smut scenes, you're like, you especially when you read them at work in your downtime or somewhere where you would rather not have to be turned on. you gotta sit there like, don't, it's fine, it's just a smut scene, because like she goes into detail and I'm just like sitting there like, yes, I love this, yes. So again, please, if you give, like, I highly recommend you give this book a try. I definitely enjoyed it. I gave it 5 stars. It's amazing. I loved it. So please check it out. If you get the physical copy, great. If you get the ebook, great. There might be an audiobook, I'm not sure. But if you do that, then do that. But yeah, like when I first read the first couple chapters, I was thinking this might be naked territory. Like this might be up there. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any sci-fic book recommendations, please let me know. Maybe comment some, or maybe tweet me some. Yes, I'm still calling it Twitter. But I mean, if it's got two girls that are in love, just plop them in the comments, because I'm always looking for some great sapphic smut. So yeah. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you liked it, give it a thumbs up, and if you like my content, hit the subscribe button, and I will talk to you in my next one. Bye! Think you're bad boy, think you're bad boy.